Man, absolutely pathetic by the Washington Commanders. They lose 25-24. They fall to 3-3 and lose an embarrassing game to the Chicago Bears. We're going to talk about it in today's video. Make sure you guys subscribe, do all that good stuff. The Commanders played awful in this game, really from start to finish. There was like a small period where they played fine, but overall a really bad performance in this game. But at the same time, they should have won this game. I mean, up 24-16 in the third quarter, and just a bunch of things went wrong for the Washington Commanders. An absolutely pathetic showing by the defense in the second half, and also, the offense, just way too many turnovers. I mean, these guys did not show up to play, at least some of these guys, and some of that is on Jaden Daniels. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here, because he had some really, really, really good plays, but he also had some really bad plays. And GG's to the Bears. They played better than the Commanders, and it is what it is. We're going to hear about it from Bears fans on Twitter. Like I said, it is what it is, but yeah, Jaden Daniels wasn't good enough today. The interception was awful. I mean, you're about to score, and if you hit Deebo Samuel earlier, it's a touchdown. But then also, just at that point, don't make that throw. The fumble, I mean, that cannot happen, man. That really cannot happen. I know it's rainy, I know that, but the Bears didn't seem to have trouble handing the ball off. That last drive where DeAndre Swift was absolutely dominating this defense, and you knew he was gonna run. You knew they were running. And Bill Krosky-Merritt also. I mean, the rookie story is cool and all, but at a certain point, you're a pro, and the fumbles got to stop, and it's 2 fumbles in 2 games, and both fumbles were very costly. I'm not putting the game obviously on those 2 guys. We're just starting with those 2 guys because of the turnovers. And Bill, he was good in this game, besides that, but obviously that plays a factor into it. So overall, he wasn't good if you account for that fumble. And 3.6 yards carry, did have some good carries though overall, but still the fumble was bad. Jaden ran the ball pretty well in this game. Jalen Lane had a nice 7-yard rush, but receiving wise, honestly, the receivers weren't a big liability. I mean, Chris Moore, he had like 1 drop, but he had a really nice catch in the end zone. Nice throw there by Jaden. Zach Ertz also had a good game. Also a nice throw there by Jaden. Jalen Lane absolutely cooked Tyreek Stevenson. An amazing route. Almost scores a touchdown there. Luke McCaffrey also great. He just was wide open, but still a good play by him, and scored a touchdown there. And then Jeremy McNichols, shout out to him. I mean, he had a really good day today. And that's really it. The offensive line, I mean, Wiley had some sacks he allowed, or pressures at least. And then also, like, the Bill fumble was bad, and obviously that's on Bill. But Andrew Wiley was right there. I don't know how he did not recover that fumble. Bad play by him there. Obviously that's on Bill, but still, you got to make that play. And then that's kind of it offensively. The turnovers, I mean, it's as simple as that. Their turnovers are the reason offensively they didn't score more points in this game. And I'm not obviously going to put it just on Matt Gay, but he also missed a field goal in this game. And, when it's a close game like this, you can't do that. So, you miss I forgot what it was, a 50-yarder. Come on, man. That's pathetic. I'm sorry. We need a new kicker, and I'm not sure it's going to happen, though. And, defensively, early on, it was actually fine. They were allowing a lot of yards, but for the most part, they ended up, stopping them in the red zone, holding them to a field goal, or, turnover on downs, maybe not in the red zone, but, at the 30, at the 40-yard line, and just doing a really good job overall. But in the second half, that changed. I mean, right after Washington scored, I can't remember exactly, after the Luke McCaffrey touchdown, I don't know if after that, or maybe after the Zach Ertz touchdown, I don't know if they scored right on the I think they did score on the next possession, but after that, the defense, the switch flipped, and they absolutely, from that point on, were getting cooked. Bobby was fine in the run game, but he did, he got lucky. The Commanders got lucky. Zacchaeus, it almost was a house call if he catches that. Trey Amos was fine. Luvu, I'll shout out to Luvu. Luvu had one of his best games today. Had a nice sack, nice hits. Jeremy Reeves up and down. Quan Martin, let's start with absolutely pathetic Pathetic performance by him. I don't care what happened the whole game. Let's just talk about that one play, because you can talk about, oh, one play doesn't define you. Yeah, it does if it's as bad of a play like that. First off, the play before, it wasn't an easy one, but he should have came down with the interception. That's a pass that, is definitely, I'm not saying you should make that every single time, but definitely something that was doable for him. And then the next play, DeAndre Swift catches a pass and runs it for a 55-yard house call. And, all Quan Martin had to do is push him out of bounds. And he gives, I don't know if it was he gave up on the play or just, it was a half, effort or whatever. And, guess what? 55-yard touchdown. And obviously Marshawn Lattimore, he can't freaking catch him. So that was awful. Deron Payne was fine in this game. Darnell Savage was fine. Newton was fine. It was just, in terms of obviously we have to watch the film. The run defense was good, or not good. It was okay at first, but the end of the game, man, it was awful. DeAndre Swift was just carving up this defense. And it's like, even at the end there, right? You just, they marched down the field like 20, 25 yards because, the fumble gave them good field position. Okay, makes sense. And then you have a chance. It's like 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. I don't know what it is, but if you stop them there, you have a chance to, get the ball back with 30 or 40 seconds. And first of all, that kick wouldn't have been guaranteed. It would have been a 40-ish, around a 40, 45-yarder. But he gets 15 yards on that play. So that makes it, not only do they get the first down, they get a closer field goal, but we also don't have time to get the ball back. And that was the biggest thing, because I can't remember exactly the calculations, but we would have probably had the ball back with anywhere from 20 to 35 seconds left. And obviously that's not what you want, but you have time to potentially, get into field goal range there. And you end up allowing a 15-yard run to DeAndre Swift. Let me start with some guys I want to call out. Mikey Sainristil, I don't care, man. He's a cool story, whatever. Not even a cool story. He just had a good year last year, right? He's been awful this year. The 2 interceptions he's had in the back-to-back weeks kind of have masked his performance and kind of have made fans forget about what happened before. But this game, man, he was awful, and also he got bailed out. And I'm not going to lie, the refs, and, even if some of the calls were correct, the Commanders were getting bailed out on offense. Some of these plays, it didn't really affect the play. It just happened after the play, and yeah, it was a penalty. Even some of them might have been ticky-tack, but it was a penalty. But, it didn't really affect the play, and the Commanders are just getting bailed out. But Mikey Sainristil, speaking of getting bailed out, he allowed a touchdown to Rome Odunze. But guess what? The Bears got called for illegal formation or whatever, which also that was ticky-tack. But besides the point, he got toasted, and Rome catches it over him, and maybe there was a push-up, I don't know, but still that was bad. Missing tackles, if you're watching other plays, there was a few plays, if you're really looking and you see the guy that got targeted, but then you look over and Mikey Sanders just trying to run back to get into position, so it looks like he was actually on his guy, but he was actually getting cooked. And missing tackles, it was another play that got called back, but definitely you could see it. It was when the Bears had the ball at the 10 or 11 yard line, and after we punted it to them, and the first play he throws it to Komet, should be a 3 or 4 yard gain, turns out to be an 11-yard gain. But guess what? Commanders get bailed out again, specifically Mikey Sainristil, because it's a 5-yard penalty on a offensive offside. So I don't know what the stat sheet will say about Mikey Sainristil, but just know it's way worse. The reality situation is it's way worse than what the numbers will show. He was bad. Quan Martin was bad. I don't know. Marshawn, I don't know. He didn't really get targeted that much. Thought Kinlaw was fine, but again, the run defense, it was getting cooked in the second half. So I don't really know what to say there, but man, it was just absolutely atrocious, this game. Real quick, a word from today's sponsor. And a huge thanks to Sleeper for sponsoring today's video. The Commanders play tomorrow night against the Chicago Bears. A huge game. It's basically a rivalry at this point. Jaden Daniels versus Caleb Williams, number 1 and number 2 overall picks from 2024. But that's all behind us, and we just got to win this game. The Commanders have to win this game. But I do have a pick for this game, and been on a tear recently on Sleeper with these picks, so you guys can tell as well. So DeAndre Swift over 18.5 receiving yards. The running backs on opposing teams have been doing decent jobs at getting receiving yards. Bill Krosky-Merritt touchdown, and then also Bill Krosky-Merritt over 65.6 yards, rushing yards. Make sure you guys check out Sleeper. Link in the description. Use promo code Pedro and get a 100% match up to $100. Okay, and again, a huge shout out to Sleeper. As you guys saw, my picks didn't hit. That was recorded yesterday, but Bill, I believe, didn't go in his over, and he didn't score the touchdown, but obviously DeAndre Swift's over hit on the receiving because what did he get? Let's see, 67 receiving yards. Just, man, this is such a disappointing loss too, because the Eagles just lost, and you're thinking, all right, you win this game, you're going to be in first, which that doesn't matter too much in the grand scheme of things, but it feels good if you're in first place. And yeah, this ends up happening. So Jaden Daniels, he was good, and then just besides a couple plays, which obviously matters, so overall his performance wasn't amazing, and it just sucks that had to happen. And it's not even like the fumble, right? It's not even a skill issue. It's just like it's just discipline, and obviously the rain and stuff played a factor into it. But again, that's not an excuse when Caleb Williams, they handed the ball off 27 times. I mean, take off the 4 that he ran, 23 times, and there weren't any fumbles. I mean, they didn't turn over the ball, and that's the big problem with this, Commanders defense. No turnovers forced either, which really sucks. I mean, he got sacked 3 times, so I guess that's enough. You would like more, but that's enough. Jeremy Reeves had a sack. I don't know how that happened. And then Von Miller and Armstrong got a sack. I feel like that was all Armstrong, but maybe they'll correct that later. But this, and Luke, I want to shout out to, Luke McCaffrey. His returning was great today, and also he had the big touchdown catch, was wide open, but still, he caught the ball and he got open somehow. So it was a coverage bust, but nonetheless, he made a good play. So I mean, you don't love to give game balls after this game, so I'm not really going to give too many game balls. I think who played well. The ones who didn't, that definitely get a can kick. Offensively, I don't really know. Maybe Wiley. I know he allowed like 1 sack at least, or if not, it was a bad pressure. Larry Tunsil had a false start, but I'm not going to give him a can kick, but give Wiley one because he also didn't recover the fumble. And then defensively, Quan, Martin, Mikey Sainer still for sure, and then Matt Gay for sure too. I mean, you can't miss not an easy kick, but a 50-yarder. I mean, we're watching kickers make 60-yarders and consistently make 55-plus yarders. So a 50-yarder, like, it's fine if you miss one every few games, but when it's been like, I don't know exactly what his stats are on this year, but I think he's 3 for 6 or less this year on 50-yard kicks. So, I mean, that's just not good enough. I mean, what is he? I mean, he's 9 for 12 this year, but I believe 3 of the misses are on the 50-plus yarders. So, and overall, 75% isn't good. It's a smaller sample size, but you want your kicker to be 85-ish%. And yeah, of course, Jake Moody makes. I mean, I guess he missed one of his kicks, but like in all those conditions, like you would expect him to miss more than one kick and or one extra point. And he misses one kick, and it was blocked. I mean, and again, if we don't allow that long DeAndre Swift run right at the end, then maybe, just maybe, he would have missed it, because it would have been, I don't know what the kick was at the end of the day. I think it was like a 35-ish yard kick, but it would have been like a 45-yard kick if you stop him right where he was, and they didn't do that. So this game's on a bunch of people. I also think, and Dan Quinn, he needs to be more aggressive sometimes, going for it on 4th down in certain situations. In the first half, I mean, 4th and 7 is obviously a little bit iffy to go for, but also, like, do you trust Matt Gay to kick a 50-yard field goal? I mean, he missed it. And just at the end of the first half too, you have 25 seconds. I mean, I guess after the punt you had 20 or 19 seconds, but I still would like to see, even if it's a handoff. I mean, maybe not a handoff with no timeouts, but throw one pass, see what you can do. Maybe you get 12, 13 yards, or maybe you get a penalty. There's a lot of penalties in this game. And maybe you're like, all right, let's see if we can somehow get into field goal position. I know I'm nitpicking, but I feel like Dan Quinn overall was way more aggressive last year than he has been this year. But absolutely heartbreaking game today. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And absolutely pathetic performance. All three phases of the game. Offense, you have 3 turnovers. And, there's nothing. You have 3 turnovers. I mean, unless you score 40-plus points, it's just you're not going to have a good game if you turn the ball over 3 times. Defensively, I mean, just absolutely choking the game away in the second half. And then special teams, you can't miss that kick, man. Matt Gay, I mean, that's the difference in this game. Obviously, we don't know what would have happened. They would have been going for a touchdown. They probably would have gotten it, but who knows? So Matt Gay also on the list of things I didn't like, as Kevin Sheehan likes to say. But that's it for today's video. Gonna say hope you guys enjoyed, but I'm sure you guys didn't. But thanks for watching again. Do all that good stuff, like, subscribe. Peace.